Hey everybody, alright, gonna be going over the standings for the last week, see what's changed. I can tell you this much, we have a new leader in the entire league, new top team. So let's see who it's gonna be. Alright, last week in the North Division, Toronto was the top team, 38 points. Followed by Winnipeg, then Edmonton, Montreal, Calgary, Vancouver, and Ottawa. Let's see where we're standing at this week. Toronto's still a top team, 40 points. So they got... Oh, wrong way. 2 points. 2 points. Not a good week for Toronto. Alright, then Winnipeg is still next, but they're tied with Edmonton, but they have 3 games in hand over Edmonton, so they're ahead of them technically. Then Montreal. Calgary is still hovering behind Montreal. They still have yet to pass them, but right now Montreal is on the wrong end of a 2-game losing streak to Calgary's 2-game winning streak. One more win for Calgary and they at least tie them. So Montreal needs to get off of it because they're 3-3-4 in their last 10. Not a good record. I mean, Calgary's been more mediocre, 5-3-2, but still. And even now Vancouver is starting to knock at the door. They're, 3 points back of them. I mean, you got to do something, Montreal. You got to figure this out. Otherwise, you're going to fall behind real quick. And Toronto needs to figure it out because they've been 5-5. Winnipeg's been amazingly good, 7-2-1. Edmonton 6-4. And Ottawa 4-6. And this is reflective of today's games. I'm doing this after the games for today, so that should all be incorporated into this. Alright, on to the East Division. It was led last week by the New York Islanders, followed by Washington, Boston, and Pittsburgh, all in the playoffs. On the outside looking in was Philadelphia, New York Rangers, New Jersey, and Buffalo. Buffalo was hit with the loss of Jack Eichel, nonetheless they weren't playing good even with him. So they're probably not going to be going anywhere up the standings anytime soon. New Jersey has hot streaks and really bad streaks, as you can tell. New York just got Panarin back. We'll have to see how much of a difference he makes. First game back, they won with him, so we'll see how this works out. Philadelphia I don't know what's going on with Philly this year. They looked amazing last year, and then this year they just can't figure it out. Pittsburgh, they've been doing really good since they got rid of, since their GM left. They got a new GM in, and they've all been playing better. Boston, they've been kind of hit and miss of late. And Washington, Tom Wilson suspended again for long term. Unsurprising. New York Islanders, they definitely have been playing above and beyond what I think most people would pick them to be doing. I mean, everybody expect them to be a good team, but they're doing amazingly good right now. But they did just lose Anders Lee for the term of the season, the foreseeable future. And I know I'm not on video, but I did the quotation marks around that. And we'll see how that one works out. They may end up having to trade for somebody. We'll see. Alright, this week, Islanders are your new top team in the entire NHL. They have the most points. And they are the leader in this division as well, as you can tell. Expanded it by 2 points, but still. They are on a current 9-game winning streak. I believe that is the highest winning streak presently in the NHL. Washington still nipping at their tails, only 4 points back. Pittsburgh is at 35, so they're 3 behind Washington. Boston's fallen 3 points behind Pittsburgh. But they're 3 points ahead of Philadelphia, too. I mean, you look at the top 3 teams in that division. 1-9, 1-4, 1-5 in a row. Then Boston lost 1. Philadelphia lost 2. New York Rangers won 1. New Jersey overtime loss. And Buffalo lost 2. So, there you go. Buffalo has 0 wins in their last 10 games. 0-8-2. They are probably going to have the highest chance to get the number 1 overall at this point. I don't see many teams challenging that unless they go on a hot streak somehow without their top player. We'll see how that works. But Philly still has not figured out 5-5 over the last 10. Rangers 5-5. New Jersey 1-7-2. So, I mean, your top four in this division are doing the best at this point. I mean, Boston's probably the worst one of the bunch at 4-4-2. But they're still in the playoffs by 3 points with nobody having games in hand over them. So, that's where we stand in the East. Utah team and the Islanders. In the Central, last week we had Tampa in first, followed by Carolina, Florida, Chicago, Columbus, Nashville, Dallas, and Detroit. This week, Detroit's actually done fairly well last week. 3 points in last week. That's actually pretty good for them. And good for my team, the Ducks. Keep winning. Please do. We get a better chance at a better pick. Please keep losing. Or keep winning. Alright, anyways. Carolina is now in first in this division, but they have played one more game than the second place team, who is 1 point behind them. Carolina is in first. They have an 8-game winning streak, which is very good, and they've looked very good over that span. Tampa looks good, and they got the news, yesterday, I think, that Kucherov is on schedule. He should be back by playoff time, barring any sudden setbacks. But as of now, he's on pace to be coming back at that time. Florida is tied with them for third place. They're tied for them for second place, but has played one more game. Chicago is fourth, continuing their surprising season, but they have been taking a step back of late. They are 5-4-1 in the last 10, currently on a 1-game losing streak, which 1-game losing streak isn't bad. I mean, you're going to lose at some point. Columbus is 4 points behind them, not been playing well either, 3-5-2. Dallas is, where are they, 9 points back. But the difference between Dallas and Columbus chasing Chicago is Dallas has 5 games in hand over Chicago. They win all those, they're a point ahead of Chicago. So, Dallas could move up, but they've been 3-5-2 in the last 10. Not a great record. Really not. Nashville is behind them, and then Detroit. So, that's where we sit, and honestly, out of those bottom 4, Detroit has the most wins in the last 10. So, yay for Detroit fans. Alright, on to the West. Vegas was in first last week, and followed by St. Louis, Colorado, Minnesota, LA, Arizona, Anaheim, then San Jose. Now, as of this week, we have Vegas in first still, followed by Minnesota, then Colorado, then St. Louis, who has done not very good in the last 10. They're 4-3-3 in their last 10. And they have, I know this week, on Friday, Saturday, they have a back-to-back against San Jose, who they seem to always be in 1-goal games, and they win every other. So, theoretically, they should win Friday if they continue their pattern and lose Saturday. So, there you go for the future for St. Louis this week. And San Jose. But after them is LA, who's back by 5 points with 1 game in hand. Arizona also 5 points back, but the same amount of games played. Then you have San Jose, and then you have Anaheim. San Jose, out of the bottom 4 teams of this entire league, I think, is the only one with a multi-game win streak at this point. And honestly, they haven't looked bad in the last few games. But it's where now they can keep that up because it's their first win streak of more than 1 game at a time. So we'll see what they can do with it. They're 5-4-1, which is about 500. So, yeah. We'll see how that works out. Anaheim's right in the bottom. Probably going to stay back there. LA and Arizona, they've kind of taken steps back over the last week or so. Because let's see. Last week, LA was 6-2-2, Arizona 5-4-1. This week, LA's 3-4-3, Arizona 4-5-1. So they've been kind of mediocre where LA's actually lost quite a bit. So we'll see how this works out because St. Louis is really banged up. And honestly, I can see them falling out at this point. It wouldn't be that surprising because of who they've lost. They've lost quite a bit. And Colorado is starting to really get hot, and they're still missing quite a few defenders. So that should be worrisome for the entire league. Because I still am sticking with my pick of Colorado winning this whole thing. Vegas is doing good, but they look like they have weaknesses. They really do. I mean, they pull out wins in a lot of the games, but if you watch them, there are times when you can see there are serious weaknesses in their game. I still think they're a top team. I'm just not sure they can pull out like they have in the last few years. Minnesota is a surprise. I mean, who knows what we're going to get out of them. I expect them to get 4th place in this division, but right now, granted it's only a 2-point separation, but they are in 2nd. So we'll see how this ends up, because it could end up being a really good playoff matchup, Minnesota versus Colorado in the first round if it sticks this way. I wouldn't complain. So there you have it. Outside of that, let's hit the top 10, or bottom 10 teams in the league, because these are the ones that are going to be battling each other for that first overall pick this next year, since now we know that the draft is going to be happening. Alright, so last week we had Columbus in 21st, followed by Vancouver, New York Rangers, Nashville, Anaheim, Dallas, San Jose, Ottawa, New Jersey, Detroit, Buffalo. Those were your bottom 10 teams. Now this week, the bottom 4 had not changed much, but there has been movement elsewhere. Now at 21st, we have Arizona, followed by Vancouver, who has not moved but has been playing better. San Jose, who's been playing better, and they have moved up about 4 or 5 spaces. Well, they're tied with the New York Rangers, but they played one less game than the Rangers at this point. Dallas has moved up, but they're starting to gain ground on the games played that they missed at the beginning of the season. Nashville is next, followed by Anaheim, who has fallen into the bottom 5. Which, for someone like me who is a Ducks fan, is like, so frustrating. Why do they suck so bad? Well, they do. Gotta get over that. But anyways, Anaheim's down in the bottom 5. Now they have a far better chance of getting that number 1 overall. So that would be nice. They've never had a number 1 overall, where Buffalo has. I don't know what Detroit ever actually has. Has Detroit actually had number 1 overall? I want to do a draft look for teams. I think that might be a fun series to do. Maybe I'll do that. Oh, just started raining outside. New Jersey, I know, has picked number 1 overall. Heischer, I believe, was number 1 overall, wasn't he? No, Hughes was. Was Heischer? Heischer might have been, too. Ottawa, I believe, they had number 1 overall? Gosh, I gotta go over the drafts again. I've forgotten now. Anyways, that's where we sit right now. I mean, Buffalo definitely has the best chances, and really, I don't see that changing, because Buffalo is not a good team. They just aren't. Out of those bottom 5, the only ones I can see moving out of the bottom 5, Ottawa has moments where they look good, but they let in a lot of goals. I mean, look at the goals against. 124 goals against. That is terrible. Out of the bottom 10, only one other team has hit triple digits, and that's Vancouver. But Vancouver has 86 goals. Well, Ottawa's not far off from that. They have 83 goals. Their differential is a minus 41, though. That is awful. But most of that is from playing against Edmonton, who just seems to destroy them every game. But anyways, there you go. That's what I have for the standings video for you for this week. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you have not already done so. Helps the channel out. I'm getting closer to our 50 subscriber milestone. Help me hit that milestone. Alright. Make sure to like, comment what you think of the standings. Who do you think is going to end up being number 1 overall? Or, not number, well, yeah, who's going to be the top team in the league at the end of the season, do you think? And who's going to be the bottom team with the best chance to be getting number 1 overall in the draft? Alright. I'll see you all next video. Bye, everybody.